Causes of the plate movement. We know what is a plate. The lithosphere, which is up to 100 kilometer, is broken up into various plates. Now, what is a plate movement? When these plates, broken plates, they start moving, since they are floating on the asthenosphere, it is called as a plate motion. What are the causes for such plate motion? Now when there is a now here we have conventional current. When there is a conventional current, there is a formation of the ridge. If there is a conventional current, there is a formation of the ridge which causes the plate to move, and eventually at one point where the conventional currents are subsiding, the slab is being pulled. Slab pull, and then we have the ridge. And this place where the slab is being pulled is called as a trench. Here we have a lot of earthquakes, deep earthquake zone. So this zone is what we call it as a Benioff zone. It's a deep earthquake zone, Benioff zone. Now we have the interior of the earth is inner core, which is solid, and outer core is liquid. Due to this outer core, we have conventional currents, movement of the conventional currents in the asthenosphere, right? The conventional currents are moving in the asthenosphere. Because of the movement of the conventional currents, we have the cracking of the plate and a formation of a ridge. At the same time, there is also the formation of the trench. Earth movements is of two types. Exogenic is because of the sunlight gravity. The outer layer of the earth, the surface of the earth is being disrupted because of sunlight. Sunlight is having the electromagnetic radiation. The electromagnetic radiation from the sunlight, and then we have the gravity. Endogenic is from within the earth, is because of the primordial heat, the heat which is present at the time of formation of the earth. And radioactivity, we also have radioactivity like nuclear fusion reaction which is taking place in the core, and we also have the nuclear fission. Now the earth's interior is having a primordial heat which rises up. Rocks melt on the mantle. Because of this heat, the rocks on the mantle, they get molten on the places where they are released. The rock molten gets tighter and it expands in the nature. It starts to rise upward and towards the surface, right? Magma movement takes different forms and causes the plate movements. The magma in the form of the convection currents, mantle is blooming, and ridge push, gravity sliding, slab pull. These are the 5 major movements of the magma. So the 5 major movements of the magma are, the first thing is the convection current. A current will have a cycle. Magma plume is the continuous rise of the magma. Just a continuous rise. It is not having a cycle. Ridge, push. When there is a rise of the conventional currents, continuous rise at the same point, from one point, it causes magma plume outside. Initially, it needs to break the plate and it causes a ridge. And as a conventional current has a cycle, this plate is pulled. Now, this is what we have, pulling of the plate, ridge is pushing, right? And gravity sliding, the slab pull, everything. Now, convection current is due to the primordial heat and radioactivity. Why do we have such a kind of a conventional current? We have this, everything is because of the primordial heat. primordial heat, and then we have it as because of radioactivity. Now, this is proposed by the Arthur Holmes. The theory of the conventional current, we have the conventional current, convectional current. Convectional current is proposed by Arthur Holmes. Convection is nothing but a movement of the mass along with the heat, is what we be having the convection. The mass is moving along with the heat. For example, what is called as conduction, the transfer of the heat. When there is the transfer of the heat through air is what we have radiation. Conduction, and then we have convection. This mass also moves along with the transfer of the heat. Movement of the mass along with the heat. The rising magma hits the lithosphere. It divides when it melts. Another branch comes down. Convection current are either in whole mantle or in the asthenosphere. Bulge when it hits the lithosphere. Crack on the bulge. Some magma comes out. The ridge outward. So this is going to cause a bulge, and then it is going to cause a ridge, and then down it is going to pull one crust downward. Mantle plumes are nothing but the jet-like ejections. It is in one direction only. So the jet-like ejection of the magma in one direction, it originates in the boundary between the mantle or the core. Now here it is in the boundary between the mantle and the core, right? This is the core, and then we have this is the mantle. They are the reason for volcanic hotspots. What is ridge is pushing, right? The push experienced by the lithospheric plates because of the rising magma, it pushes it. An accumulation of the magma. This is happening in the mid-oceanic ridge. Gravity sliding. Due to gravity, the plates ridge very highly elevated. Example is going to be the mid-Atlantic ridge. Magma accumulation and cooling very fast. Now rising magma further accumulation, and it causes gravity sliding. So we have the ridges first pushing it. Gravity is sliding because of the accumulation of the magma, and the slab here is pulled at a trench. Slab pull at a trench. What are the causes of the plate movements? First, we be having the convection current. This theory was proposed by Arthur Holmes. The convection currents are generated in the Earth's interior due to the release of intense heat. Intense heat, the source of the heat is going to be like primordial heat or radioactivity. The reason for this is the primordial heat, or we have the radioactivity. These currents are of two types. The first is involving the whole of the mantle or involving only the asthenosphere. So it involves the mantle is involved here. Between the core and the mantle, we'll be having straight away unidirectional magma ejections, right? Which is happening in the mantle. That is why we call it as a mantle plume. It happens in the mantle. That is why we call them as a mantle plume. The first is involving the whole of the mantle, and the second one is the asthenosphere. As the currents ascend from below, they diverge and spread laterally. They are ascending from below, they diverging of the currents, and they spread laterally. The convection would cause the lithosphere to split, resulting in the formation of the oceanic ridges. So it causes the split of the oceanic ridges. As the plates are moving laterally, the plates should move right. The currents carry the slab along with them. When these currents encounter similar currents in the opposite direction, they descend into the deeper parts of the mantle. So when they are encountering similar currents of opposite direction, they are going to descend over here. Now, what is mantle plume? These are a type of mantle convention involving jet-like plumes of low-density material. So we have here the material is going to be low-density material. The material is of low density, and these are from the core mantle boundary. We have the core mantle boundary is where we have the mantle plumes. As the plume reaches the lithosphere, it expands, it spreads out laterally, doming the surface zones of the earth. Doming the surface of the earth. Example is the Yellowstone National Park, USA. For mantle blooms, we have a national park, Yellowstone National Park, USA. Now, moving them along the direction of the mantle plumes are the cause of the formation of volcanic hotspot. Hawaiian Islands are having no plate boundary. Only in the plate boundaries we experience hotspots, right? Hawaiian boundary, Hawaiian Island and Reunion Island are not having. Reunion hotspots are near to Madagascar, and Hawaiian Islands, we know they are present in the Pacific Ocean. So example is Hawaiian Island without the presence of a plate boundary, where we can see slab movements, trenches, hotspots are present. Here ridges are not present. The ridge is pushing. Magma rise along the oceanic ridges. Ridges present only in the oceanic ridges. They form wedge. This is what we call it as wedge. They form wedges of new lithosphere on either sides of the trailing edge of the plate. It causes the plates to be pushed apart. Next, we have the gravity sliding. Spreading centers stand high on the ocean floor. They are the spreading centers. These spreading centers, they stand high. So these centers stand high on the ocean floor. Results in the gravitational sliding of the lithospheric slab away from the ocean ridge. Slab pull. Gravity sliding, slab is pulling. It is considered as along the subduction zone, where the subducting plates pull the rest of the slab along. Criticism. The theory always widely accepted, but it is not able to explain. Both Africa and Antarctica are surrounded by ridges and have no subduction zones to accommodate the new lithosphere where they are being generated. The plate tectonics in the past, that is the formation of the earlier mountains, movement of the different plates, how they are different from the present one.